Yo, football fanatics, ever wonder where the concept of tiki-taka and high pressing came from? Forget Pep and Klopp for a second because there's this OG named Rinus Michels who basically invented modern football. This dude was a straight-up genius, way ahead of his time with his total football thing. Think constant movement, insane passing, and pressing like crazy. Basically organized chaos that blew everyone's minds. But Michels wasn't just about tactics. He knew how to fire up his players and outsmart the competition. This video dives deep into his legacy, from his legendary Cruyff and the Ajax squad to how his ideas still influence coaches and players today. Trust me, after this, you'll never watch a game the same way again. Okay, so picture this. It's the 60s, football is kind of boring, everyone's stuck in their positions like statues, and then boom, Rinus Michels shows up and basically throws a tactical grenade onto the pitch. Michels wasn't some random dude though. Born on February 9th, 1928 in Amsterdam, Netherlands, Michels was a baller himself back in the day, scoring a lot of goals for Ajax like it was nobody's business. But this guy was different. He was like the Einstein of football, always thinking, always strategizing. He took inspiration from this crazy Hungarian team called the Mighty Magyars and was like, yo, we can do this better. And that's how total football was born. Forget those rigid formations. Michels wanted his players to be like chameleons on the field, constantly switching positions, confusing the heck out of their opponents. It was like organized chaos, but man, it was beautiful to watch. Now, you can't talk about total football without mentioning the legend himself, Johan Cruyff. This dude was Michels' star pupil, the ultimate playmaker. He was like the conductor of an orchestra, dictating the tempo, making those killer passes and scoring goals for fun. But here's the thing, Cruyff wasn't just some solo artist. Michels' system was all about teamwork, where everyone shared the responsibility of attacking and defending. It was like a hive mind on the pitch, with players constantly interchanging and supporting each other. Imagine trying to defend against that. It was like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. All right, let's break it down, folks. Rinus Michels wasn't just some coach yelling from the sidelines. This dude was a straight-up tactical mastermind. He looked at the stand in your spot and wait for the ball style of play and was like, nah, that's boring. Michels introduced this wild concept called total football, where players were constantly on the move, swapping positions like they were playing musical chairs. Forget defenders just defending and attackers just attacking. In Michels' system, everyone did everything. This fluidity thing was key. It was like watching a school of fish darting around, confusing the heck out of the other team. And if you thought that was wild, Michels also introduced this crazy idea called pressing. Basically, his players would swarm the opponent like angry bees the second they got the ball. No chilling and waiting around, just constant pressure, forcing mistakes and winning the ball back. Talk about intense. This whole total football thing wasn't just some random idea Michels pulled out of a hat. It was revolutionary because it completely wrecked the old school way of playing. Back then, teams were all about rigid formations with players glued to their positions. Michels was like, screw that noise. He wanted his players to be unpredictable, to think for themselves, and to adapt to any situation on the field. This positional interchange thing was insane. Defenders popping up in attack, forwards dropping back to defend. It was like the football version of a magic trick. Opponents were left scratching their heads, wondering who was supposed to be where. Michels basically threw the rulebook out the window and created a whole new game. And guess what? It totally worked. Michels led his Ajax squad to 3 straight European Cups in the early 70s, making them the undisputed kings of Europe. They were like the rock stars of football, playing this beautiful, free-flowing style that no one could handle. Then, he took the Dutch national team to the World Cup final in 1974. They might have lost to West Germany in the final, but their Clockwork Orange team, with Cruyff leading the charge, became legendary for their mesmerizing total football. Michels' legacy lives on, inspiring coaches and players even today. Okay, so you know how everyone's obsessed with Pep Guardiola? Well, guess what? He's basically Rinus Michels 2.0. Pep's like the ultimate Michels fanboy. He took that total football blueprint and added his own swag to it. Think tiki-taka passing, insane pressing, and players who can play like 5 different positions. Pep's teams like Barcelona and Manchester City are basically Michels' Ajax on steroids. They dominate possession, suffocate opponents, and score goals for fun. It's like watching a video game where you've unlocked all the cheat codes. So yeah, next time you see Pep lifting another trophy, remember that he owes a big shout out to the OG, Rinus Michels. But Pep ain't the only one rocking the Michels vibe. Jürgen Klopp, the heavy metal football dude that was at Liverpool, is also a huge fan of that high-energy pressing game. His teams are like relentless hunting dogs, constantly chasing the ball and forcing turnovers. And don't even get me started on Marcelo Bielsa, aka El Loco. This guy is like the mad scientist of football, obsessed with tactics and positional play. He's got his teams playing this crazy high-intensity style, running their socks off and pressing like their lives depend on it. It's like Michels' total football with a shot of adrenaline. The coolest thing is that Michels' influence isn't just limited to a few big-name coaches. His ideas have spread like wildfire through European football academies. These academies are like the Hogwarts of football, where young players learn the magical ways of the game. And guess what they're teaching? You got it. Total football principles, fluid formations, positional interchange, pressing, it's all there. So basically, Michels' legacy is being passed down to the next generation of players. Who knows, maybe the next Messi or Ronaldo will be a product of Michels' genius. All right, let's talk about player vibes, because Rinus Michels has totally changed the game there too. Back in the day, it was all about specialists. You had your defenders who, only defended, and your strikers who just, struck. But Michels' was like, nah, fam, let's get some multi-talented players up in here. He wanted guys who could dribble, pass, shoot, defend, basically the whole shebang. Think Johan Cruyff, the OG total footballer. This dude could do it all. He was like the Swiss Army knife of footballers, and he inspired a whole generation of players to be more than just one-trick ponies. Fast forward to today, and you see Michels' influence everywhere. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. That dude's a magician on the field. He can score bangers, create insane passes, and tackle like a beast. He's basically a walking embodiment of total football. And it's not just individual players. Whole teams are built on this idea of positional fluidity now. Manchester City, for example, is like a chameleon on the pitch. Their players are constantly swapping positions, making it impossible to defend against them. It's like trying to catch a bunch of squirrels on a sugar rush. The bottom line is that Michels' vision of the complete footballer is more relevant than ever. In today's game, you can't just be a one-trick pony. You got to be adaptable, intelligent, and able to play different roles. It's like Michels is whispering in the ears of every young player out there saying, yo, step up your game. So if you want to make it big in the football world, take a page out of Michels' book and become a versatile, intelligent baller. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next Kevin De Bruyne. Rinus Michels wasn't just about tactics and formations, he was a master team builder. Forget those me-first superstars. Michels was all about teamwork and making everyone feel important. He created this insane sense of unity and collective ambition where everyone was striving for the same goal. It was like a superhero squad, with Michels as their fearless leader, pushing an attacking mindset and encouraging them to express themselves on the field. Basically, he created a culture where everyone was hyped to play for each other and dominate. And he wasn't just some drill sergeant barking orders. Michels actually connected with his players. Johan Cruyff, one of his stars, said, Michels had this aura of authority, but also knew how to have a laugh. He even let them blast music in the locker room before games. This created a relaxed yet focused atmosphere where players felt comfortable taking risks. Michels proved that building a winning team goes beyond tactics. It's about creating a culture of trust, ambition, and a shared love for the game. So let's wrap this up, folks. Rinus Michels wasn't just some coach who had a few good seasons. This dude was a straight-up revolutionary. He took football and flipped it on its head, introducing total football and changing the game forever. He basically gave the football world a glow-up, ditching those boring static formations for a dynamic, free-flowing style that was as beautiful as it was effective. Michels' impact wasn't just a flash in the pan, it's like he dropped a knowledge bomb that keeps on exploding. From Pep Guardiola to Jürgen Klopp, today's top coaches are still rocking Michels' principles, proving that his ideas are timeless. And get this, even though football is constantly changing, total football is still super relevant. It's like that classic song that never gets old no matter how many times you hear it. New coaches are taking Michels' ideas and remixing them, adding their own flavor to fit the modern game. It's like Michels created the ultimate cheat code for football success, and everyone's trying to crack the code in their own way. So next time you're watching a game and see some insane passing, crazy pressing, and players swapping positions like it's nobody's business, remember the name Rinus Michels, the OG mastermind who started it all. This dude's legacy is forever etched in football history.